former community organizer, Southside legislator. Oh my God, you should have seen the campaign ads in Iowa. You never thought he ever went to corporate law, to Harvard Law or anything like that. He just, all he ever was community organizer. The former community organizer, the line goes, just can't wait for the forces of popular democracy to rise up and make him do the really progressive things he really wants to do. Ms. Vanden Heuvel and John Nichols might want to look at my book for a very different and very detailed take on Obama's early history in Chicago, Springfield, and the U.S. Senate. They might want to look back at Ken Silverstein's 2006 article in Harper's, where a Washington lobbyist he spoke with says to him, the obvious, big donors, quote, would not be helping Obama out if they didn't see him as a corporate player. The lobbyist added, what's the dollar value of a starry-eyed idealist? We wouldn't be pouring millions of dollars into a future president if we thought he was a left reformer. Every stage of his career, liberal journalist, liberal, not leftist at Z Magazine like me, Ryan Lizza noted about Obama last year, every stage has been marked by an eagerness to accommodate himself to existing institutions. In a carefully researched portrait of Obama based on extensive interviews, Larissa McFarquhar, also in the New Yorker, like Lizza, found that Obama was about as far from being a radical reformer as one could imagine in his view of history, in his respect for tradition, in his skepticism that the world can be changed any way, but very, very slowly. Obama, McFarquhar noted in the New Yorker, not in Z Magazine or Monthly Review, is deeply conservative. That's a quote from her after in-depth interviews. It's not just that he thinks revolutions are unlikely, he values, she said, continuity and stability for their own sake, sometimes more than he values change for the good. Take healthcare, for example. McFarquhar noted, quoting Obama, how the United States for-profit health insurance companies were too deeply entrenched for us to evict them from their mafia-like control over our health care future. McFarquhar's portrait was consistent with how the left-black political scientist Adolph Reed described the 30-something Obama in early '96, just after Obama won his first election to the Illinois legislature. Obama struck Reed as, quote, a smooth Harvard lawyer with vacuous to repressive neoliberal politics, including a fundamentally bootstrapped line, vapid talk about meeting in kitchens and small-scale solutions to social problems, and the elevation of process over program. It struck Reed as the point where identity politics converges with old-fashioned middle-class reform in favor of form over substance. I am aware of the standard liberal defense that Obama is doing all he can for progressive values under the existing system of business and imperial power. Corporate Washington, the argument goes, and I agree, leaves little room for progressive maneuver. Yes, that's true, but leaving aside the fact that the deeply conservative Larissa McFarquhar's description in '07, Obama goes farther, often goes farther than required to appease corporate and military masters. There's an obvious response to this defense, and that is this. Hey, maybe it isn't about running for president. Maybe it isn't about climbing to the top of this authoritarian system and helping that system rebrand and re-legitimize itself as, quote-unquote, a democracy where, quote, anything is possible, as Obama said in his election night speech in downtown Chicago. No, maybe it's about, as Reed says, as Howard Zinn says, as Chomsky says, and as Charles Derber says, and maybe it's about rebuilding and expanding social movements, creating a more responsive political culture beneath and beyond these big quadrennial business coordinated, corporate, crafted, mass marketed, narrow spectrum, candidate centered, candidate obsessed electoral extravaganzas. Noam Chomsky's phrase, the last one, that the power elite and its dominant media stage for us every 4 years and then ask us to go back to sleep. I think Reed got it right at the beginning, and as the brilliant black left Obama critic Glenn Ford recently put it in regard to Obama's predictable conservative trajectory as president, what begins badly usually ends badly. With all due respect for John Conyers, we might also heed the words of the Tarnac Nine, who wrote the following in their 2000 pamphlet, The Coming Insurrection. To be disappointed, one must have hoped for something. And we never hoped for anything from business. We see it for what it is and what it has always been, a fool's game of varying degrees of comfort. That's pretty much how I felt about the business liberal Barack Obama, and I might add about, generally speaking, the broader U.S. political system. But how I felt about Obama since he first leaped on the national stage in the summer of '04. It's no small part of why I actually picked him, contrary, John, to use the title Improbable Quest. I picked Obama as the next president in the fall of '06, in part because of all this stuff. John, I am finishing up. I hope you didn't get punked like Barack Obama, your former professor at the University of Chicago. I do look forward to your comments and to those of others tonight.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul, for that. I don't believe that I've been punked. In fact, I think the one thing we share is that in many ways, Barack Obama has been the kind of president that each of us expected him to be, and both of us expected him to win and be a president like he is. I think the larger question is how you define progressivism, and how you define Obama within the progressive movement. And I know this is, my stand is in some ways an unpopular stand at the moment when Obama's poll ratings have reached an all-time low, and what I suspect may in fact be an all-time low of his presidency, and where the liberals and the progressives have started to turn upon Obama with a vengeance in many ways. And Obama himself talked about how people were getting all wee-weed up, and the reality is that they're not only getting all wee-weed up, they're also pissing on Obama, and sometimes for very good reason. That, as I noted in my book, that many of the left-wing critiques of Obama are well-deserved and on target. He's an imperfect politician in a corrupt political system. And so I don't want to present a naive, rose-colored glasses viewpoint of Obama or his presidency. It's absolutely true that he has not been everything he could be. He has not pursued all of the progressive policies that he could. But at the same time, I think we have to recognize what kind of progressive Obama is and where he stands within the progressive movement. And we also have to talk about what the progressive movement is. And in my view, it's very much a kind of big tent that has to include a wide range of different approaches to the progressive movement. Precisely because I think that progressive ideas are a majority force in the country. They're obviously not a majority force within our political system or the media, but I believe in general progressive policies represent the views of the majority. And as a result, if you believe that like I do, you have to understand that there is going to be a wide range of different kinds of progressives. And I think Obama was and is a real progressive, someone, as is often cited in defense of his progressive values, someone who strongly spoke out against the war in Iraq, even though he's someone planning to run for the U.S. Senate, someone who has embraced progressive values and progressive policies throughout his career. But he's not a progressive in the mold of Dennis Kucinich or Paul Wellstone or Bernie Sanders. He's not someone who's going to fight the good fight against all odds, someone who's going to speak truth to power, no matter how unpopular that stand is with the media or the politicians or the lobbyists. He is a very much different kind of progressive. And one of my books used a phrase in the subtitle, pragmatic progressive. And for me, that really is the embodiment of what Obama is, someone who has progressive values, but is always willing to engage in political compromise to get the legislation that's going to pass. And that's why I think we need a big tent progressive movement, one that has the Paul Streets and the John Wilsons, one that has the Bernies and the Baracks, that is capable of having people who are critiquing somebody like Obama as president, while still understanding that Obama really is a progressive president. And the right-wingers who complain that Obama is the most far-left president in our history are, in my view, correct. Unfortunately, that's not saying very much. But it is saying something that's actually really important. And the potential of Obama is not the kind of exaggerated expectations that I think some on the left had, that he was going to be our great progressive savior, that he would swoop down in the White House and sprinkle magic Obama dust everywhere, and suddenly everything that was bad about the Bush administration and that went wrong would be magically cured. That's not first of all, that's not who Obama is, and secondly, that's not the power that a president